Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we are going to talk a little bit about Yoda. Okay, so Yoda, a force-sensitive male being belonging to a mysterious species, he was a legendary Jedi Master who witnessed the rise and fall of the Galactic Republic. Followed by the rise of the Galactic Empire, small in stature but revered for his wisdom and power, Yoda trained generations of Jedi, ultimately serving as the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. Having lived through 9 centuries of galactic history, he played integral roles in the Clone Wars, the rebirth of the Jedi through Luke Skywalker, and the unlocking the path to immortality. Born in 896 BBY, Yoda was almost 900 years old in the later days of the Republic. A leading member of the Jedi High Council, his contemporaries included other legendary masters such as Mace Windu and Ki-Adi-Mundi during the invasion of Naboo in 32 BBY. The Maverick Qui-Gon Jinn introduced Anakin Skywalker to the High Council, believing with absolute certainty that he had discovered the prophesied Chosen One. The Jedi elders sensed that the boy was full of fear and anger and declined to train him, deeming Skywalker too old and emotionally compromised to commit himself to the Jedi Code. After Jinn's death during the liberation of Naboo, the High Council reversed the decision in spite of Yoda's continued opposition to Skywalker's apprenticeship. Having sensed grave danger in his training, at the same time, the Jedi discovered that their ancient nemesis, the Sith, had returned after a millennium in hiding. Aware of the rule of 2, Yoda was convinced that at least one more Sith Lord remained active following Obi-Wan Kenobi's victory over the Sith apprentice, Darth Maul. Over the next decade, the galaxy was on the verge of civil war, with entire star systems led by Count Dooku. Yoda's one-time Padawan threatening to secede from the Republic by 22 BBY. Unable to defend the entire Republic on their own, the Jedi took command of the newly formed Grand Army of the Republic, with Yoda himself leading an army of clone troopers against the separatist droid army of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. In the first Battle of Clone Wars, for 3 years, Yoda led the Republic military's war effort as a Jedi general, determined to bring a swift and decisive end to the conflict. But his efforts were undermined by Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord of the Sith, who conspired to destroy the Jedi and restore the Sith to power. After the Jedi Purge commenced in 19 BBY, killing thousands of Jedi both on Coruscant and across the galaxy, Yoda confronted the self-declared Galactic Emperor, but failed to cut short Sidious's reign and consequently retreated into exile, leaving the Sith Master to consolidate his power with a new apprentice, the former Anakin Skywalker turned Darth Vader, at his side. His remaining years were spent living in isolation on the remote world of Dagobah, until Anakin's son, Luke Skywalker, sought out the legendary Grand Master in hope of becoming a Jedi Knight. A year later, with his health rapidly declining, Yoda died of old age and became one with the Force in 4 ABY. Sorry about that. But born 900 years before the Battle of Endor, Yoda belonged to an ancient and mysterious species. As he was keenly attuned to the Force, he joined the Jedi Order as a youngling. After undergoing the ritual known as the Gathering, He received his kyber crystal, sorry about that, and Professor Huyang helped him construct his first lightsaber aboard the Crucible. Thereafter, Yoda was paired up with a personal mentor. During their time together, Yoda's Jedi Master told him the tale of Kung Fu and Chuyang, two great Jedi of the past. Around the age of 100, Yoda was ready to pass on what he had learned. Having attained the rank of Master, he spent the next 8 centuries training and tutoring generations of Jedi. It was estimated that over his lifetime, he had trained around 20,000 Jedi. Centuries later, Yoda took on the human Dooku as his last known Padawan in the era of the Galactic Republic, while Dooku initially wanted to become the Padawan of Lane Costana. His upset subsided when he learned he would be Yoda's apprentice. During one mission to the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk, the Padawan witnessed his master face off with a giant, dreadful Tarantatic. Yoda visited Kashyyyk on several other occasions prior to the Battle of Kashyyyk, serving as Jedi negotiator in many incidents involving the Wookiees and their Trandoshan neighbors. This earned him the ancient title of Defender of the Home Tree, as well as becoming a member of many Wookiee leaders and all the inhabitants of Katorho's honor families. Yoda also taught outside the Master-Padawan relationship and trained all the Jedi younglings prior to their teaming up with Jedi Masters, including Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, Kanan Jarrus as Caleb Dume. Often heard, Yoda counseled, "Do or do not, there is no try." He also taught groups of younglings and the basics of Jedi training, including lightsaber instruction. Invasion of Naboo. During the invasion of the planet Naboo by the Trade Federation, Yoda served on the Jedi Council as the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. Having trained Jedi students for about 800 years, he was present when Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn presented Anakin Skywalker, a young slave boy from the planet Tatooine, to the Council in the hopes of training him. Although Jinn believed Skywalker to be the chosen one, prophesied to bring balance to the Force, Yoda and the other Council members did not share his opinion, sensing that the boy was harboring a high amount of fear in his future was uncertain. They therefore refused to allow for his training. After Jinn and his Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi returned to Naboo, they forged an alliance between the human inhabitants of the world and the native Gungan species in order to combat the Federation occupation forces. The Federation's droid army was eventually deactivated after Anakin Skywalker accidentally destroyed its command ship during the battle. However, Jinn and Kenobi dueled the dark side Force user Darth Maul, the Formarian Zabrak, apprentice of the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, which cost Jinn his life. Yoda, along with other members of the Council, was present at the Naboo Victory Parade and Jinn's earlier funeral, where he shared his thoughts on the apparent re-emergence of the Sith with fellow Master of the Order, Mace Windu, pointing out that the rule of two, the Sith succession system is in effect at that time, meant that another Sith was still present. Unbeknownst to the two Jedi, the remaining Sith was Chief Palpatine, the Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Republic, who had been sworn in after a vote of no confidence forced his predecessor, Valorum, to resign. With Jinn dead following the events of Naboo, the Council named Jinn's former Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi a Jedi Knight, who informed Yoda of his master's final will, that Skywalker be trained. Reluctantly, Yoda permitted him to take the boy as his Padawan. Separatist Crisis. 10 years after the Naboo crisis, several thousand systems disillusioned by heavy taxation succeeded from the Galactic Republic and formed the Confederacy of Independent Systems, under the leadership of Count Dooku, a former student of Yoda, who left the Order due to widespread corruption in the Republic. As the Galactic Senate, the chief governing body of the Republic, debated the creation of a stand-in army, an unsuccessful attempt was made on the life of Senator Amidala of Naboo after Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi and Padawan Anakin Skywalker cornered the assassin. The killer was in turn killed by a mysterious person who escaped using his jetpack. The events prompted the council, which included Yoda, to appoint Kenobi to track him down. Kenobi's investigation led him to attempt to find the planet Kamino, whose location had been missing from the Jedi archives. This discovery alarmed Yoda, who surmised that only a Jedi could have erased the files. Interrupting a training session with the Bear Clan, Yoda helped Kenobi pinpoint the world's exact location through meditation, allowing the latter to travel there. Following Kenobi's departure, Yoda experienced a vision while meditating in which he heard the voice of the spirit of Qui-Gon Jinn and sensed that Anakin Skywalker was in terrible pain. He discussed the vision with fellow Master Mace Windu afterwards. Having arrived on Kamino, Kenobi reported that the Kaminoan cloners had created a clone army, the order for which had been placed by Jedi Master Sifo Dyas, who had perished around the time of the invasion of Naboo. Kenobi believed that the template used to create the army, bounty hunter Jango Fett, was the person involved in the attack of Amidala. After a brief encounter with Fett, Kenobi followed him to the planet Geonosis, where he found that Dooku separatists ordered the assassination attempt on Amidala and had constructed a droid army after relaying the information to the Jedi Council. Kenobi was captured and scheduled for execution, later joined by Amidala and Anakin Skywalker. And then you got the Clone Wars, the Battle of Geonosis. News that Skywalker and Kenobi had been captured prompted the Council to dispatch a Jedi strike team to Geonosis, while Yoda headed to Kamino to take command of the clone forces, as the strike team interrupted the execution of Kenobi and his associates, suffering casualties at the hands of the numerically superior Confederate battle droid forces. Yoda led the clones in the battle, thus beginning a galaxy-wide conflict that would become known as the Clone Wars. As the clones engaged the Confederacy's forces in a massive battle, Yoda headed to rescue Kenobi and Skywalker from Dooku, who had incapacitated the duo in a duel. The diminutive Jedi Master showed his mastery and power over the Force surpassed that of Dooku by casually repelling the latter's telekinetic assault and Force lightning. He then engaged Dooku in a brief but intense duel, having the upper hand. Dooku, realizing he was outmatched by Yoda, used the Force to bring a large metal pillar down on the unconscious Skywalker and Kenobi, forcing Yoda to break off the duel and use his own powers to stop it from crushing them. Dooku used the distraction to flee aboard his personal craft. Although the battle on Geonosis ended in the Republic's favor, Yoda was concerned about the growing influence of the dark side and the Force and the outcome of the Clone Wars. Mentoring Anakin Skywalker. As the Clone Wars progressed, Yoda decided to alleviate Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker's fear and inability to lose loved ones by assigning him a Padawan learner, Ahsoka Tano. He believed that by becoming a teacher, Skywalker would develop emotionally, and that when the time came for Tano to go off on her own, he would understand that his excessive bonding to those he cared about was unnecessary. Tano traveled to the planet of Christophsis, where she presented herself to Skywalker in the midst of a battle against Confederate forces. After the battle had concluded, Yoda himself arrived on the planet and assigned the duo the task of finding Rada, the son of the influential Hutt crime lord Jabba, who had been kidnapped as part of a plan arranged by his uncle Zyro to alienate the Hutts and the Jedi and drag the former into war. After the two Jedi successfully completed the mission, Yoda, along with a group of clones, extracted them from the planet Tatooine. So yeah, basically this is like a very, 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 very long history of Yoda and everything he was involved in Star Wars. So I'm sorry to say this, guys, but I am too tired to read the rest because it's so much and stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. You guys have a nice day. Thanks.